Following on from my last video, which introduced my point cranks and point rodding, this video is to illustrate the new signal boxes which I'm releasing, and these are upgrade or change from some existing ones which I've released earlier, and a few new ones as well to add to the range. And these are meant to accompany the point cranks and point rodding which I've released last time. So this is an example. This is I've just called this very inventively GWR Signal Box 1. It's actually based on my original signal box for Bolton on the Water, and like any other signal box, you can rename it. So we'll just say your name here, or rather the name of whichever location you want. Do you wish to proceed? Yes. So it just appears there in the little name board. Now the thing about these signal boxes which I'm releasing is that they are customizable, and I'm giving permission when you download these to alter them, to clone them and alter them as you wish. And so there's a number of things here which you can either remove or change. And so I'm just trying to tease this into the interior. It's not the easiest moving about in Trainz like this. It's not the most friendly. But let's go in around the side. You'll see there's another signal box just coming into view here, and I'll explain all of these as I go through this video. Let's try this position and come down a bit. Here we are. So this is my signalman figure, but you can put any signalman figure in that you like. Oop. Trainz does not help you, does it? Pulling back. There we are. Okay, so we can look inside the signal box now. Now the first thing that you'll notice is that the lever frame is different, and this is a whole series of attachment points with particular levers. And what I've done is I've put in to this release version every signal lever which is available from my website, and all you do is you allocate whichever signal lever you like to the attachment point in the configuration file, and I'll explain that a bit in more detail in a minute. And the same is true for the, let's just try and pull back a bit more. Well, there we are, we're looking in through the window now. But you can see there is an instrument shelf, and there's a whole series of instruments there which I've made, and these are all attached here by attachment points. So you can alter the number and type of instruments that you have on the instrument shelf. Fixed items within this within the signal box include the diagram, but you can change the diagram. You just change the relevant TGA file, the fireplace and chimney, and also the lockers here, and the cupboard with the train register, and the static clock. Unfortunately it is static. I did try to make to insert a working clock, but as an embedded or dependency, the clock wouldn't work. So it'll only work when it's completely separate from any other mesh that I discovered. Okay, what else is in there? Well, there's an attachment point for a chair, an old sofa, an old armchair, the usual sort of thing you find in signal boxes. You can change that to another chair if you want to. And also we've got a little cat, and the cat is called Isambard, and you can tell by the colours that he's actually allocated to one of the western divisions of the Great Western Railway. Just my joke. Okay, not brilliantly funny, but anyway, there it is. You can change it for another cat if you want to. I wouldn't recommend any other animal unless you want to give the signalman a real fright. What else have I included? Well, there's a single line token instrument there, and there are several types of those now available on my website, plus the windlass or wheel for opening and closing level crossing gates. And these come as standard in this basic version of the signal box, and you can see half the levers are forward, half the levers are back. So all you do is you go into the config file and change which levers are referred to in each attachment point. So the idea is when you put your signal box in place, you work out more or less what signal levers there should be in your box, and you change these to the correct levers, and then you can either leave a single line token instrument in or remove it, and the same for the level crossing gates. And that's pretty much it, but it does give you a lot more flexibility. And the reason why I'm saying that it does give you flexibility is because you don't just use this version. What you do is you download, give him permission for you to clone this version, this signal box, and create your own. Give it your own KUID number, but please refer to this in the description that you've cloned it from this, and then you can alter it in any way you like and give it its own name, and that then makes it unique for your route. I don't want any of these to be released generally on the DLS, and they certainly shouldn't be included in anything, in any payware. These are all freeware and for your own personal use only. Okay, so that's signal box number 1. I will come back and GWR signal box number 1. I will come back and explain about the configuration file. This is GWR signal box number 2, and it's based upon the one at Princeton in Devon near the prison. This is GWR signal box number 3, and it has it's based upon the one at Fairford. So it's more of a platform box than anything, and you can see there it's just got a short set of steps up to it. Signal box GWR signal box number 4 is a much bigger production, and lots of levers there. And I've just seen that I've made a mistake with the level crossing wheel there, so I'll fix that before I actually upload it. And again, it's got the same mix, but many more levers and many more instruments on the shelf there. What else have we got? Well, we've got number 5, which again is a pretty decent sized signal box, and I forget now what that's based on, which one it's based on, but again I think these two are from, yes I do know, these are from Kingham Station on the old Cotswolds line. And number 6 is over here. I couldn't resist modelling this. It's the raised signal box at Leominster, and it has 100 levers, so plenty of time to play around with the configuration file and get that right. So 100 levers, and you can see here it spans double track. It's a platform mounted signal box. Now what you can do here is there are 3 sections of these girders, so there's actually 4 attachment points along here, and so long as you keep the outer one as this end piece, you can reduce the number of these, so in effect you're moving that into the right. So if you only want to go over a single track, you can reduce the number of girder sections from, there's 3 at the moment, say take it down to 2 or even 1, and this end section goes from here to there, and then each girder section is 2. Okay, so there, a girder section and the end section are dependencies of the signal box, and you can see here that the signal box is pretty big, pretty impressive, and it's actually got the name on both sides and 2 signalmen inside. But again, it's got the standard fittings which I've been putting in all of these boxes, and you can edit those in whichever way you like. And again, with all of these, I'm giving permission for you to clone them, rename them, edit them to your situation, and all I'm asking for is that you do acknowledge that they are clones of my original signal boxes. There is another range as well, and these are Great Eastern Railway signal boxes, and so here we are, we've got rather imaginatively named GER signal box number 1, and again it has the same internal fittings, the same attachments, and then number 2, which is a bit pristine, number 2A, which is slightly rougher than number 2 and 2B, and these have different numbers of signal levers. So what you can do is you can delete some of the signal lever attachment points references in the configuration files, and that can reduce the number of levers that you have to insert into your signal cabin if you want one with just say 4 or half a dozen or whatever. Then we have one of the larger ones, large wooden built Great Eastern Railway signal boxes, again with the cupboard, train register, the lockers for the signalman, and then another one here, slightly smaller, hiding behind this Great Western steam rail motor. Number 5 is a bigger one, just for variety. I think I've only given that one signalman though, so he has to run about a bit. Yes, there he is, but it's one of the higher raised signalmans. And number 6 is this little dinky one here, little signal hut. And for this one, what I've done is I've actually left the door open so that you can see inside, and this would be ideal for say a little crossing, road crossing or something. And I've more or less fitted everything in that you see in the big boxes, a different chair and a register on the desk. Actually, if we look through the window on this side, you might just be able to work out, yeah, there's about 4 levers in there. So so there we are, and that's a little standard Great Eastern, and there's some instruments on the shelf there and the diagram. Again, they all use the same diagram, so I do invite you to create your own TGA file to replace that. Okay, so just to continue with the explanation of what I'm releasing with these signal boxes, these are the signal levers, which are dependencies in the new signal boxes, and you can see here that they're the colors of the signal levers, and then so we've got yellow, white, red, black chevron up, black chevron down, brown, blue and black, and they're in the 2 positions, so that you decide which color and which position of signal lever you select for the individual attachment points within the signal box. And these really relate to the layout of your station or junction, which the signal box is covering. So you need to just sort of make a scratch list of the types of lever and the numbers of levers and what they're related to. So it means a bit more work. You can't just plonk down a signal box. Well, I suppose you can just plonk down a signal box and be happy enough with that, but this gives you the opportunity to tailor each signal box to the location on your route. And I will be releasing on my website, as well as the signal boxes themselves, also a PDF file, and here it is. So it's just how to personalize this signal box, and I've explained everything there, so you don't have to keep going back over this video. It's going to be all in that, and you can this is where what's renameable or changeable. Please note, I don't give permission to reskin these models, absolutely not. But then there's plenty of customization options. This is talking about the signal levers, and in this paragraph here, for example, I explain which color relates to what function. So black for points, blue for facing points, yellow for distance signals, red for stop or home signals and ground signals, brown for level crossings, white is the unused, and then the detonator levers for placing detonators on the up or down line. So that's all in this PDF file, and I've given you all the KUID numbers there for all of the signal levers. Also for the instrument shelf, I've given you the list of the dependencies which are there at the moment, and you can either use these, or if you have other suitable models, you can replace these with other dependencies. There's my signalman. Again, you can change it for somebody else if you like. There's various single line tokens that I'm releasing at the token instruments, which I'm releasing at the same time. Webb and Thompson and Tyres instruments. There's the level crossing wheel. There's the old armchair, and there's the cat. So it's all down to you as to what you would like in your signal box. Now you don't have to use this, you can just leave it as it is and place it down, but it's just something more, I think. I think it adds to the Trainz experience. Just having a quick look in the file listing for signal box 1, which is the one based on Borton on the Water, and coming down to its config. I'm just using this as an example. So there it is, there's config 1. So there we are, very straightforward entry, and then we get the mesh table, which is the mesh is the signal box itself, and then we have all these attachments. And depending on the number of levers, that gives you the number of attachment points. So in the Borton on the Water one, we've got 24 levers because we start with lever 0 and we go up to lever 23. And these numbers here are the KUIDs for the individual levers. So going back to that PDF file, just have that handy and you can see which levers you want where. And you just, all I've done is I've just gone through the whole list, all of these levers here, and they just one after the other, just plonked them into position there. And then it's down to you to sort out which ones you want where, or leave them if you're happy enough with that. And then here are all the instrument attachment points. And again, if you don't want so many instruments, just delete the config entry. So for example, if you don't want the, let's go down to the end here, so there's quite a few instruments, I think about 22. Yep, there it is. If you don't want so many instruments and you want to just have them at one end of the shelf, you can take out, just delete that from the config that you save for your version of the signal box. Okay, what else have we got there? Well, there's the attachment point for the token instrument, the attachment point for the wheel, the chair, the cat, and there's the name and the signalman. The name, of course, is just whatever you type in, and there's the smoke attachment for the chimney, or chimneys too on this one as it happens, and there's my usual guff at the end. I haven't actually extended the KUID table at the end, so you can also repeat whatever KUIDs, whichever dependencies you want to add in there. So I think that pretty much explains what this is all on about. You will be able to see images of all of the instruments will be on my website page where this is going to be released, so you'll be able to look through those, but it's just a single CDP to download to take all of my instruments. They're not that big, so it won't bung up your Trainz setup. And the signal levers similarly, they're not particularly, they're pretty simple. If we look over here, they're pretty simple models. The actual number plates, I've just used anything I could find. So they're all of the red ones are going to be the same, all of the blue ones are going to be the same. I thought that was just like going a bit too far to personalize every single lever, but I think they make an adequate representation of a lever frame, signal lever frame for signals and points in the level crossing, in the signal boxes. So there we are, that's about all there is to say about these. I will be making other companies' signal boxes as well, not just Great Western and Great Eastern. There's a few others I want to make, and a few other more sort of varied types which are going to be spread around the different companies within Britain, so that you can choose which ones you like, and of course you can rename them. But as I say, I'm not giving permission for you to reskin these, but you can modify them as you like in order to fit in to fit them into your particular route wherever it's going, whichever company you're looking at. So there we are, just zooming through there. The reason why I want to do this is I want to drop down here a moment, and as you'll see, once these signal boxes are out, then the next batch of models which I'm making will be coming out probably in the end of March. And here's an example of one. This is a Great Eastern Railway bracket clock, and we've got a similar clock, in fact it's identical apart from the face, for the Great Western over here. And that's the first of a series of working clocks which you could just add into any sort of environment that you want, any station that you want. So I'll be releasing those after, be well into March I would imagine, before they're released. but that's just the experiment. I mean, to give you a taste of what's coming, I think I've got a few. Oh yes, here we are. Here's some which I've been experimenting with. Ooh, flying about here. So this is actually a clock here based on the one at Waterloo, and it's a 4-face clock. All the faces work, and thanks to El Stoco for doing that for me, for the script. It's really been brilliant. And it'll have a spline which will connect from whichever height you want to put the clock at, up into the roof of a station. And I've discovered that you can set splines vertically, so hooray for that. You can sort that out. And then this next one over here is loosely based. I mean, they're both loosely based on the originals. This is loosely based on the one at Paddington, which is actually a 3-faced clock, not a 4-faced clock, but more of that in a moment. And then over here I've got a couple. Whoops, let's get back over. Oh dear, good old Trainz zooming about like crazy. See if I can turn this around. There we are. And there's a couple of working clocks that are actually in japanned black cases with glass, and there's hinges and a little handle, a glass door to open it up to wind them. Great Eastern and Great Western. And so you can fix those to the exterior wall of a station building, and they're protected from the elements. But I'll also be releasing the clocks themselves as separate models as well. So if you want to put them on a protected side, interior side of a building, then by all means do that. Sorry, that's the stairs of a signal box cutting in there. So there we are. So that's what's coming next. And after that, well, who knows? I've got a few ideas and got lots of models still to make. So the clocks will come. These clocks, by the way, these big ones, will come in this 4-sided version, a 3-sided version which will be able to fix against the wall, and a 2-sided version which would be like large versions of those two over there under that canopy. But this release is all about signal boxes, and I hope you download them. I hope you enjoy them, using them, and I hope you do try and make a detailed changes to the interior of the signal box so it closely matches your particular location. And I'm intending that my next video will be a demonstration of setting up the track, the point work, the point rodding, and the signal box at one of the stations on my St Twinall's route, my own private route. And so that'll be a sort of a work through so that you can see the process as I've got it in my mind. But to me, it adds more enjoyment to Trainz. It really does personalize the whole experience and brings in an aspect which is often, comparatively neglected, because it's just sort of, you plonk a signal box down and you just, right, that's it. So there we are, signal boxes. That's all for this time. Please give a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video. Leave a comment if you wish, ask a question if you wish, I aim to answer them, and please go to my website and download these completely free signal boxes to add a bit of detail to your route.